Hey there, and we're going live.
Economy while enriching the other half of the economy. Perhaps even Johnny Carson might have gotten involved at this point, but I can't speak for the man. But you certainly, again, I'm just to keep it a little bit light. I'm just hoping for the. I want the music, I want to feel like it's exciting. I'm talking to a big star.
Hey, and welcome this evening to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob and his guests. Who are they? They are the live chat. And we're in it for about 39 seconds, and no one has arrived yet. So we'll go back to the trailer here. Come on. There we go.
Our whole dream is to be like have our own garage where we can smoke pot in Southern California and tell people things. I mean, you've kind of reached the pinnacle of media status here. So.
Tonight, from Burbank, California, The Tonight Show, starring Dylan Radigan.
Yeah, Dylan.
Okay, so let's get to it. Let's talk about the stimulus. So let's just get to it. The COVID relief package. Now, if you don't know, the first time, the time when Bernie Sanders and the squad actually had leverage was when they passed the third COVID release, which was called the CARES Act. That was the $5 trillion upward transfer of wealth that every progressive Democrat, including Bernie Sanders, voted for, and then gaslighted everybody about what was in it afterwards. And that's why everybody's in the situation we're in now, because the oligarchs wanted their $5 trillion and they wanted it fast, and they knew they had to do it. It's disaster capitalism, shock doctrine. We all knew this was coming, and so they had to do it fast. So if Bernie Sanders would have put a hold on that bill and the progressives would have rallied their friends in the media, we could have maybe stopped it and we could have did something better. And now it's too late because the oligarchs already have all their money, which is why they don't give a shit if anybody else gets a check. That's why we can't get a check. Would you agree, Dylan, that that's kind of what's happening?
I mean, functionally, yes. I think you have to put it in a bigger context. Let's go to the beginning of this whole situation. A global pandemic is something that no living person or very few living people have ever dealt with, right? The last one was in 1918. The reaction to it is to enrich a very small group of people and annihilate a very large group of people economically, the obvious ones being bar owners, gym owners, hair salon owners, everybody that's been really most directly affected, all the small businesses. The logical government response is to support those that are being forced to close because of the pandemic. It is not to raid them and just destroy their business, which is what the U.S. government has done. We've talked about what I guess they call a K-shaped recovery, or a K-shaped economy, really, where you have this huge catalyst from the pandemic that's creating this massive wealth. The most obvious one being Amazon or Tesla, but there are plenty of businesses, streaming TV shows, online brokerages. There's all this sort of digital universe that has actually benefited from the housebound dynamic of the pandemic. At the same time, it's obvious who is suffering. You do not have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to do a lot of analysis. All you have to do is walk outside or drive through any town or city in this country and look at the hair salon, look at the gym, look at the restaurants, look at the bars, go down the list. The obvious government response is to provide direct relief, especially to the businesses that are being annihilated. The U.S. government, the Democrats, what I call the Pelosi-Trump axis of evil. And while Trump is gone, Pelosi has actually been further empowered at this point because the Democrats idiotically believe that their people support them, when the reality is they were the only alternative to Donald Trump.
Right.
And there's a big difference between me supporting you and you being the only alternative to Donald Trump. The government has and is not only failing, it is actively empowering the wealthiest interests in this country, and it is actively abandoning the most vulnerable in this country. And this stimulus bill is, I'm trying to be calm to offset your intensity today, but this stimulus bill is degrading, disrespectful, and insulting at a level that if it didn't happen, I actually wouldn't believe it. I had more faith in the U.S. government to actually have a more coherent view on the value of human life and the value of the American people. I did not expect them to work on behalf of the wealthiest interests in this country to harm those who are the most vulnerable.
Well, if you thought that, our government was there to help us, boy, I don't know what you've been smoking. It's pretty, like Dylan said, it's pretty obvious. Just go down Main Street and see all the little businesses closed, and you see all the big ones on the stock market, just going through the roof. And so this pandemic, and the interesting thing, kids, no one's really talking about, but this little hack that has occurred, right? And it went into a company that provided a service to most entities of large character, the government, big corporations, etc., and all the way down to social media. And what I think is going to happen is that in the new year, because it's already happening, I mean, no one's talking about it. The present administration has said very little about it. JoJo has said, we have to respond, but not really saying anything. Can you imagine one day you wake up and not only is your Al Bob not there, but the internet is gone. And then Elon Musk says, well, I've been working on this thing called Musk Internet. I've been sticking satellites in space, and it's going to be great. There'll be no middleman. It'll be you and straight into me, and it'll go up through space, and it'll be great. And that's kind of, we're all being played. And, the general public is part of the character, we're part of the usual suspects because we go along with this. Now, yeah, your Sensei Al Bob here, I, years ago knew this was happening. And so, first I tried, again, cajoled myself thinking that, well, okay, I'll finally go and work for the desperate corporate lawyers and be on the inside. No, all I did was make money and got fat. Almost 500 pounds fat. I mean, that's like, moo. And then I died. And the only reason I'm still here is because I died right in a plate of linguine with a desperate lawyer who needed me. I was rounding the bed in his contract agreement that he needed me for. And bang, I died. And that's why I woke up and I was being rolled in the operating room. They couldn't believe it. They already anesthetized me, but my higher self, bing, what are you doing? Where am I going? What are you doing? Oh, we're going to give you open heart surgery and cut your legs. What? No. No. I'm not, I didn't sign anything. Oh, that guy over there in the $4,000 suit he signed. Well, he's not my daddy, so anyway, that's another story, but we won't go there. But it was endemic of where we were. Now, I brought the deep green back in the day, 20 years ago, right? Because I stumbled on it. It was an amazing deal. I had the money. I bought it. Just like my place in Florida, the two places in Florida. They were amazing deals, and I bought them, And I waited, and when the economy, and the economy goes up and down and up and down and up and down, and it does it on purpose so the rich people can make more and more money, and the poor and middle class get screwed. And if the smarter guys than me, it's really interesting. James Buchanan, go find out who he is. He was an economist who worked at the University of Virginia, and he got a Nobel Prize. And his Nobel Prize in economics was rich people deserve to take all the money, poor people should die. He's the guy who invented the term useless eaters. I mean, yeah, it was used in Rome back in the day of bread and circus. And you have to realize bread and circus was a $15 an hour minimum wage, was a guaranteed stipend from the state to keep everyone moo. Now, hey, I'm out in the woods. They want to give me a stipend. Hey, it's all great by me. But we are heading into, I don't know if you guys had noticed the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction, Well, back in the day, that was allegedly the thing that announced Jesus Christ to the wise men, right? And Jesus actually wasn't born in December. The Catholic Church kind of just threw it there. So, because there are all these celebrations, every religion has celebrations of the light during the winter because it's dark. Like the 21st was the longest evening, the shortest day and the longest evening. And now things are getting longer. And I live way out in the middle of nowhere where there is no light except the starlight. And the sun goes down, I go to sleep. Sun rises up, I wake up. And that's pretty much it. But since the 21st, each day the sun has set about a minute or two later, and so the days are getting longer, kids. Spring is almost here. And as long as winter can stay nominally like this, 40, 50 during the day and no lower than 30, no longer than 30, I'll be okay, But when it's like in the 20s during the day and the O's during the night, that's going to be problematic for your Uncle Al. So, kiddies, if you want to assist, go to my email, my due to wake online. Your connection is unstable. See if this works. Is that better? Let's see. Hey, Ride, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Any thoughts on meditations on the works of James Joyce? Of course, I try to write like him. He's my, he's a guy I'm like a friend of mine who's an editor here, just like James Joyce on acid. And James, Ulysses is his greatest work, but I love Portrait of an Artist myself. Because I kind of, it's one of those things, when you hear a tune, every time I hear Joni Mitchell's songs, they represent a little block of something I was doing. And Portrait is, me in the 70s, right? And James Joyce was, he called himself a cut and paste man. And he carried around, one of these all the time, as I do. Let's see if I can dig it out. Where is it? Somewhere. Here we go. Maybe. Could it be? Yes, it is. One of these. A notebook. I write things down in it. Now, they're not the be end and end all, but I then take them into my work. And so, Ride, have you gone to my xratted.blogspot.com, my Griot Publishing? Have you checked that out and looked at my writings, right? So what I do, I write in that, and then I don't cut. And what he did, because he didn't have a computer, he would cut the stuff he liked, and he pasted in other notebooks. And then he would write it from that. Cut and paste man. That's me. And so, and if you read my writings, you can see that, a writer reads, right? And because you got to see the flavor of other, I'm not the greatest, but I do represent a kind of like, James Joyce on acid. So Joyce was very much into metaphor, right? He was very much into the, he's a Catholic boy. He's into Latin. He's into the Greeks. He's translating everything. He's in Dublin, so he's got access to some, Trinity College library. And he's surrounded by other really amazing editors, That's what Dublin was, a publishing town, and people would come there and get their stuff published. So there was a real, and they kind of picked up the Salon mentality. And Dublin, at least last when I was there in 1988, still has that, and especially around the university, that town that's in a town that's in a town. And so there are, there's the main town of O'Connell Street that goes by the library. I mean, not library, post office, and that's where business is. And there is a little, when you come over going towards Trinity, there's a fork to the right that kind of takes you up to where the rich people were, right? And back in the day, the English taxed people's windows. So you could tell who was rich, because whoever had big windows, they were rich because they could pay the window tax. People who were just the commoners, they had just little windows, And we're still that way. It's like nothing has changed because the people, but that's the big deal, is that we had 900 years of the oligarchs being able to, just gaslight us. And that's what was so great about Donald Trump, because he was just a straight up, low life thug, and he didn't lie. I mean, he did lie. He lied about everything, but he lied so much that he came around 180 and everything. Like when he said, "Oh, fake news." Well, he's right. The news has always been fake. Since the Mesopotamians been putting it down on tablets, it's been fake. Someone asked Thucydides, the daddy of written history, because up until then, everybody was a griot, like me. Euripides, Thucydides, Socrates, Plato, they all were, didn't write stuff down. They basically talked. People listened. They thought about it. They had schools, The Last Ride. I see the parallels between X-ray and it. Thanks, buddy. Limerick and the like. Yep, same as it ever was. Yep. And so, but the beauty of, and that's part of the beauty, is that same as it ever was. And so, I live out in the middle of nowhere. I live on nothing, but it's amazing. I'm like blessed, because this Thanksgiving, 40 people strolled out of the woods who were homeless, and most of them were heroes, vets. For some reason or another, they were totally PTSD'd while still in service, and they spoke up or broke out or did something and got dishonorably discharged. There is close to 20 million. We've been at war for, since the Revolutionary War. That's what we are. That's why we have a District of Columbia. The Vatican is the Vatican is represented at the friggin' United Nations. They got a seat on the table. And so is the City of London. Has nothing to do with England. It's separate. Totally, does its own thing. And so Vatican's all about owning your soul. Mr. Rothschild's City of London owns all the gold. They are the caretakers of the Golden Rule, who holds the gold rules. And the District of Columbia, there's a building in it called the Pentagon. And we were, up until World War II, up until the Military Act, the Security Act of 1947, that whole industry was known as what it was. It was called the War Department. It was all about us having wars, And it didn't matter whether we won or lost the war, as long as we were fighting a war, making money for General Dynamic and Boeing and Lockheed and Sperry and Raytheon and Dow Chemical and you name it, right? So Halliburton was, owned by Dick Cheney. Why do you think we went to Iraq? He made so much money. And Donald Trump is like, he once asked, back, when Nixon was, we had like 40,000 deliverable nuclear weapons. How come we only have like 15,000 now? And can I use them? I want to throw some around. Sorry, Mr. President, can't do that until it's opportune for people to make money. And folks are all bent out of shape. They think that China landed the COVID thing. No, go to Cliff Hyde's clearly thoughtful channel. I mean, he is a guy who does computer um, whatchamacallits, modeling, right? And that was his career, and he worked for the Defense Department and DARPA and everybody like that, right? And so he modeled everything, nuclear war, chemical war, and biological war. And this is following the path. And back in February, when we didn't even have it, when we weren't even talking about it, he said, hey, kids, you got to watch out for this thing, the COVID-19. And then he described, no, this is really SARS-2. And then he said it's the nouveau SARS-2. And what's that? Well, SARS-1 probably came out of the jungle. Boom, 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 boom. There I was in the middle of the jungle. That racist song, back at home, do, 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 do. Baby face, do, 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 do. And pretty much that's where everybody is. So, my bro, who I tried to wish him a Merry Christmas, basically wouldn't, you know what's going on. We have to bomb China. We have to nuke them. Well, please. If, India and Pakistan ever traded nuclear exchange, they have maybe between them 50 to 100 nuclear weapons, right? So, and they have missiles to deliver them. So, if they hit each other, right? Nobody else, just them, the major cities, and right, that would stir up enough dust and radioactivity, and from the fires, taking it to the upper atmospheres where the jet stream would take it everywhere. It would be the on the beach scenario. And it would basically kill pretty much everybody. Not everybody, because you can't kill everybody. We're like cockroaches, So, and Ride, you find representations in my work because that's all I do is lay down. I'm reading. I got all this time to read everybody, and I'm reading them, and I keep writing that. Oh, that's pretty good. And I either, if I'm sitting at my laptop, I type it in. But I have this Chromebook thing that Mr. Computer doesn't work too well if he's not hooked up to the internet. I mean, I can still type things in, but by the time I've written 10 pages, it's like, I can't do anymore. You can't, if I try to cut and paste after writing 3 pages, unless I'm on the internet, it kind of goes nuts. So, and that's us. We are so wired in to this control mechanism that goes back forever. I mean, people have no idea who we really are, where we really came from. My newest work, Legend, what's it called? Legend. What is it when you string a whole bunch of stories together? It starts with an A. Anyway, that's the name of my thing. Right now, you can go up on X-Rated, xratted.blogspot.com, and read Legend, but it only has 1 or 2. I'm already on, copy. And this thing, it's, when it's gotten too confused, it said, make a copy, because it then takes the thing that's confusing and putting it over there, makes a copy, and then puts that up, and it's like, okay, I'm good to go again. But I'm at a place where I've made a copy of 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 a copy, number 10. Number 10 is my most, wordsmith work. Now, the first one that you read, that is pretty much the whole thing. I just haven't wordsmithed it, haven't sculpted it, haven't added, taken, subtracted, put things here to make more sense, put things there. But pretty much everything that, and it's a very cut and paste. You can see the first Legend that you can see on X-Rated. There are a whole bunch of things up there that I wrote, and I put the dates on them, wrote at different times, different stories, different essays, all, and then it's taken me, last 4 months of sculpting that to bring it into what will end up being anthology. That's the word. Legends Anthology. That's going to be the name of this thing. And so And I haven't figured out how to put the most recent thing up there, right? So once I figure that out, I'll do that. Let's see. Consciousness, free will, first person, illusion, illuminated, manifested, ascended, experience. Yep, that's pretty much what I'm writing about, and that's pretty much what we're all going through, right? I've died 6 times, so I know that we are not our bodies, right? These are just, your body is somewhere between a race car and a prison cell, right? It's like really, it can be snappy and get you rounded, woo, and or slash keep you, and Johnny is a great guy. He's but he is so to the extremes that he is the archetypal um, canary in a coal mine. And once he gets into riffs, he is like, I used to dance with Robert. I did more than dance. I was their electrician, their lighting designer, their massage therapist, their documenter, and I took care of Chris Knowles, of Robert Wilson Dance Company, the guys who did Einstein on the Beach and Letters to Queen Victoria, and made a lot of people famous, like Phil, what's his name, who does atonal music. And so I used to take care of Chris Knowles. That was Robert's cousin. And Robert came from a really rich family. And, being a ne'er-do-well artist, he kind of went through his cash real quick. And so, Chris had autism and a few other things. And so I cruised into town one day and saw Robert, and I went to the free dance thing. That's, every Thursday he had a loft in Soho and had free dance. Anyway, so I went there looking for my friends, and Robert said, "Oh, Al, you're back. Great. Listen, we're going to start doing 4 or 5 of these. I'm doing an opera, blah, blah, blah." And then he said, "If you would, do you have any place to stay?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just, couch surfing." He goes, "Well, my cousin, he lives up on Park Avenue, and he has people taking care of him, but he really needs somebody like you to take care of him." And I said, "Oh, let's go meet him." So we did. And Chris and I got off, and this was like, a beautiful brownstone, on Park Avenue. Well, not Park Avenue. It was more like on 60. What was it? 30-something Street near Madison, between Madison and Lex. Really nice, big, gigantic house. And they had servants, and so I didn't have to really take care of him except, keep him company and get him out. He was way in the house way too much. So I would take him on a walk, and he would see stuff, and he would say things that were like, his insights were amazing. So I was down, at Radio Shack or something like it, and they had this cassette and this new thing, cassette tape recorder that was voice activated, and it only weighed 1.5 pounds. So I got that in a box of tapes, and I hung it around his neck. I got a nice little strap that was all nice, foam, and so it wouldn't put any wear and tear on his neck. And every time he said something, and you could kind of tune it in to a sound level and also a kind of frequency. So I kind of tuned it into Chris. So it would just, I wouldn't catch background stuff, just him talking. And maybe me if I was close enough to him. And everything that was the libretto of Einstein on the Beach and Letters to Queen Victoria came straight out of Chris's mouth. And so John Birmingham is my Chris Knowles, and Chris he was talking about all this stuff back in 1968 or whatever. 68 to 74 is kind of my involvement. No, 73. Whenever we went to New Mexico, and so that was what John is for me. He is, plus he's my friend, and I don't give up on my friends. And John has a lot of good in him, but he also has a tremendous amount of neuroses. I mean, he's not, if you would hang out with him and didn't know him, you would say he's schizophrenic, or you would say he's autistic, or you would say that he has Asperger's, or you would say that he was sociopathic, or you would say he was, you know, any of the things in the, Shrinky handbook. And he does because he's representing at the moment whatever the human race is. And that's the beauty of John. I mean, so I can watch him do this. I mean, I can watch his videos. Wow. He's like, and that's the beauty of John. He lies. He's like Donald Trump. He's so much like Donald Trump. But Donald Trump doesn't have the kind of kindness, again, the kind of kindness and empathy that John does. Um, I'd have to, like, personally, I can only watch Donald Trump from afar, but I think he's probably the best president America's ever had because he is so straight up real to what we do. And what he does is a reflection, Bottom line, what we did, and, he just let those guys go who murdered 40 people just because they felt like it in broad daylight. He thought, hey, that's pretty cool. Why should they go to, and so he let them go. They had about 40. They were put away for life and 30 years because what they did was pretty tough. They just, started machine gunning. They were driving by a market. There was a few hundred people out there buying their groceries, and they just opened fire indiscriminately into the crowd. And people put their hands up and said, "Oh no, I'm not," "Oh no," and they just kept firing and firing and firing, and killed 40, and severely damaged another few hundred. And we refused to let the Arab police kind of grab these guys, and because that was the only way to stop them from machine gunning everyone. And they had them in jail, and the United States said, nope, you let our boys go because we're giving you billions of dollars, and that money was going to pockets of corrupt politicians, same as it ever was. So we are here. Ride again tells us straight up. This is why we're here. I'll just add a few adjectives and other things, but we are here for consciousness. That's why we're here. And we are free-willed, and in the first person, meaning we're here to experience ourselves, not as a group. Even though we are all our relations, our consciousness is individual. And we are put into a simulator. It's an illusion, right? To illuminate what we need to know and do, right? And it manifests right in front of us, real time. Bing, 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 right? What it is. And it gives us the ability to have this ascended experience, meaning so we can grow our souls to be able to go on to the next step. And astronomically and astrologically, that's what's going on right now. We are in the Aquarian age. We're out of the Piscean age, out of the 900 years of darkness. And if you go and watch Jimmy Dore, what he was saying when we started this out 3 minutes ago. Let's see if he's still there. I hate these things.
It is. Well, here it is. The headline is COVID relief package, $600 stimulus checks, and a $300 bonus for federal unemployment benefits in a new deal.
That's
because
bread and
holidays,
circus.
And you're worth it. Congressional leaders on Sunday reached a deal on a $900 billion COVID economic relief package that includes a $600 direct payment to Americans and a $300 in enhanced unemployment for the next 10 weeks. $600 is not a relief check. It's a cruel joke. At this point, that's becoming a hackneyed joke. You could make it so over and over every time they come out with one of these things. Nancy Pelosi spends more than $600 on her hair. That is a fact, and her ice cream. And here she is describing this bill.
We also have in the legislation direct payments, which were not in the Republican bill, to America's working families. I would like them been bigger, but they are significant, and they will be going out soon.
Well, she wishes they could have been more. Wow, that's just so weird. She wishes it could have been more. Good thing she's such a master legislator and such a good negotiator. because she could have got $1,200 just a few weeks ago, and now she's getting $600. And anyway, she doesn't even care. That's the
Jimmy. There was $2 trillion proposed before the election.
$2 trillion.
We went from Donald Trump, the Republic. I mean, this is again. I don't. It doesn't. You don't need a lot of information to inflame the situation further. I don't know that it could even be more further inflamed. But let us not forget that there was a $2 trillion package with $1,200 checks and potential months of recurring, all these things that were in discussion before the election. And then after the election, they come out with less than half. A month late, again, the layers of insult. I'm at the point where I actually believe that the most important thing right now is on an individual level is to look to the person to, I mean, this is the old Jewish proverb, and not to get all sort of, humanitarian on you, but look to the person that is nearest to wherever you are and help them. Because the government is not only not
Government is not only doing nothing, it's actually screwing them, right? So, anyway, let's see. It's about noon, and I've been at this 36, right? So, right, you got any other gems or wisdoms here? You the three you put up there are quite nice. But this is, see, kids, this is actually a good thing, and it's like in the stars. So the Piscean motif is whatever comes down the road, take advantage of it. Well, this is like the French Revolution, they can only say, let them eat cake so much longer, And, so again, my brother wanted to nuke China. They did this on purpose, the thing is, China is not doing that great, right? And they're not, the only reason they economically are where they are is that we buy their junk. So they're not, it doesn't make sense for them to attack our economic base so we don't buy any more junk, because their economy is based on a razor's edge. And the other interesting thing is, I just read the largest country of people with the worst health through diabetes and major obesity. Not America, China. And they are rapidly, they had the, only one child thing. They want to get overpopulated. Well, they have so dropped below the number of replacement that, unless they start building robots, it's going to be tough for them. So China didn't want to do all of this stuff, and they don't even have it in their technological bag of tricks, too. Just because they can make you a smartphone, I mean, first of all, that technology didn't come from them, right? And all the technology we have, they didn't steal it. We gave it to them. When the space shuttle, Columbia blew up, right? Now, we had plenty of missiles that could deliver payloads to space. I mean, we had all these ICBMs that we didn't need because we had the START thing, and Russia and the United States cut their deliverable weapon load from 30,000 apiece down to about 1,500 or 2,000, and we have about 5,000 in the warehouse, right? And so, and who, this little hack went to places like the Energy Department, who take care of our nuclear weapons, store them. If they hacked in there, they could hack a order, from the Air Force is going to come by and pick up a few, and those could be, we are in such trouble, kids. But that's good, because it's going to force us to open our eyes and see what's going on. And if you go to my xratted.blogspot.com and read some of that stuff, I write it as a shamanic message to you, to be able to open up your eyes. What does a griot do? It tells you a story to make you go, wow, never thought of that. And you get to start to think, right? Because that's what it's going to take. Everyone to start to think, everyone to be humanitarian, everyone to say, I'm thinking about the person next to me. So that's where we're at. that's what's going on. Christmas is in 2 days. So between now and the New Year's, what's left of this year, try to be as empathetic with everyone you come in contact with. Try to be empathetic with yourself. I was talking to John. So he, puts up his videos every day, and they're great. Like I said, they are. When I was living there, we were like Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. And when people used to, all I want to hear is that guy's story. Shut the back up, you moron. John, that's why he threw me out, because he was so in between and betwixt, because he was making about $1,000 a month off of art when those videos went viral. And, he didn't give me, all he said to me, "You're costing me money, get out," but he was making thousands off of them. And I knew this. And John has an amazing ability on the internet. I mean, he knows, like, if you ever go look at, there's the place you put the title, and then there's a thing with a description, right? Well, if you ever look at that, there's all this code in there. And that's why people look at his, videos. He gets, 100 people to look at it, because he's coded it so it just it goes to people who don't even know he's there. He is anybody who watches me will get a notification about him. A lot of people have told me, I don't even, want to watch this guy, and I'm constantly getting notified. And at the same time, no one's ever getting notified that I'm even there. So I would suggest to all of you, start, going through, go back to they're all there. I haven't really cut a single show out. And, get yourself a dartboard and get 3 numbers, or throw dice, whatever, and get 3 numbers and go to that show and start there and go one way, go the other way. And whatever show that seems amusing, just save it on your dashboard there and put it on a hard drive, or put it on a thumb drive, or put it on a CD-ROM. Because I bet you, like I said, within a year, this internet's going to go, and everything on YouTube is going to go bye-bye. Not, the grand poobah will still have copies of, Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Alba, but you won't even be able to get a hold of me. So I would start, copping them down, right? And, but, John has up at the school, he goes, I'm always working on the school like it's a job. No, it's your house. It's called maintenance. It's kind of, I do it all the time. I mean, a couple of nights ago, we had winds like, woo, and things were all over the place. So I had to go around, pick everything up. I had to tie everything down. Luckily, we've only had 4 to 8 nights where it really got cold. Right? And only one night it was so cold, I said, screw it. I'm not going to, go around and dribble water so nothing freezes up. Well, everything froze up. Of course it was. So it took me a week to thaw everything out. Luckily, it got warm. If it just stayed cold, I wouldn't have water now, right? So it's just called life. And to complain about it and say, I want to kill myself. No. And you don't want to kill yourself. Meaning, like I said, I've died 6 times. 4 of the times I remember going to the other side and having the life reveal and blah, 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 blah. And given the choice, okay, you can stay here or go back. And the last time it happened to me, when I was really overweight and died of everything you could die of in a plate of spaghetti, they had the party hats and the balloons, and you're doing a great job, keep going. And I said, no, I'm here, I'm done, I'm toast, I'm ready to rest. And they said, well, you can do that, but if you do that, you're still going to have to go back. And because you haven't completed everything you said you were, you're going to be put back even further. So you want to go back and complete what you said you would, or give the good, do your best until you can't, and or you've done it, whatever it is, right? So I had never. The really interesting thing is I had no idea what I agreed to do because that's how it works. So I said, but every time you die, you put yourself in a situation. Like when I got shot, right? I didn't, get shot to get shot. Oh, it's going to be so much fun to get shot, No, I knew if I stood in the way and no one else got shot but me, then all hell would have broken loose. Everyone would go, oh my God, Al got shot. And they would stop thinking about shooting the other guy. And that's exactly. And there were so many, there were kids and women and mommies and grandparents in this room that once all those other thug morons started shooting away, and it was in a housing project that the walls were cinder blocks. So, and everyone had pretty powerful weapons, not 22s, but 9mm and automatics. And so, it would have been a mess. So that one guy, I knew he's just about to pull the trigger. I stepped in front of it. And bango, it blew this part of my hand off. And it didn't blow it off. It just kind of ripped the top part. See all those lines? That's what got taken off. But not my thumb and not the nerves and not even a lot of veins. Just, fascia, but it bled a lot. And so there was a lot of blood and it was really messy. And that's what freaked everyone out, right? And I went, my blood pressure dropped and I went into shock and I died, and I woke up in the hospital. And, and they sewed a few things up, and that's what those lines are. They didn't really, they just did what they had to, and not beautiful plastic surgery. And they said, in about 6 months you can get plastic surgery for that. I said, no big deal, because it isn't. That's no big deal. It's really not. You wouldn't even know what it is unless I told you. So when I died that time, everybody was laughing up there. They said, you're just the best. And I said, so what am I doing here? I mean, I didn't get hit in the body. It put a bullet in my palm, at worst. And they said, not even, you got scratched. You just bled a lot. And then you conked out. So you're here. We just wanted to say hi and tell you what a great job you're doing. And here's some ice cream and just keep doing a good job, And I came awake in a hospital. But this is the only thing that all the times I died that didn't have any serious repercussions. All the other times, it's because I was being 250 pounds overweight. So I have all the things you get with that. But, so I haven't been able to get all the medicines I want because I'm not in a place that has the access. Tennessee has no health care for the poor, period. They do, but really, they don't. In America, we don't have health care at all. When I was in Dublin, when I was in Ireland, I was in Skibbereen, and I had a worse impacted tooth. And I was walking through town going, I'm going to go in a pub and just drink a wine. And there I saw this big tooth hanging off the side of a building. So I went through the door, and it was a dentist's office. And there were people there waiting to get their teeth cleaned and stuff. And I walked in, and the doctor was talking to his, his secretary there. And he looked at me, and my head was like, he said, wow, come with me. And he kind of dragged me in, took some x-rays, and said, well, you have an impacted tooth. And what we're going to do, and he explained that if he could just pull it, but he would still have to do a root canal of sorts because it was so infected. He had to get way down in there and shoot some jungle juice in there. And he said, it'd be much better if we just, chop the top of that tooth off that's already rotted out, drill through your root of your tooth and clean it out and go into the bone and shoot some juice in, and I will just fill it up and put a crown on top, and it'll be good to go. You'll be fine, walking out of here. I said, walking out of here? I said, yeah, I'm going to do it right now. Just sign this piece of paper. I'm going to sign the piece of paper. He stuck me in a chair. He basically stuck the nitrous oxide on my nose, and he said, enjoy this. I'm going to let you bake a while. And then he came in and he hit me with some Novocaine that like froze me to my belly button. And he stuck, then he turned the Novocaine, the nitrous oxide to, triple time size. So I was on Planet Claire. And all I could kind of hear was, it's like Bob the Builder was in my jaw. Right? And then I kind of came to when they took the nitrous off and just gave me oxygen. And it was all done. Yeah, 3 hours had passed. It was all done. And he goes, I'm really proud. This is everything, I love it when a plan comes together. And he said, it's all good. And I fixed a few other things while I was in there, other teeth that, you now have 3 crowns. So that's really? And so, yep. Mm-hmm. So I go out. So I had $20,000 worth of dental work done on me. And in one afternoon. And I felt pretty good. And he gave me codeine and antibiotic and a few other things. And he became my new friend. I would go over there and we would do nitrous oxide together. He was a great guy. Anyway, so I say to his, secretary, they said, what do I owe? And she goes, oh, nothing. I go, what? I said, and this is when Ireland, this is before them joining the EU. They had free healthcare. They said, no, we have free healthcare, single payer care. They're one of the poorest countries at the time in Europe, and yet they could do free healthcare, right? And it was pretty good. Anyway, so that's what I'm saying. Nothing is what it seems. Everything is in your power to get what you want. And most people don't do it because it's a level of responsibility they don't want. They'd rather complain. Last one. Love's co-transformation, yes, through illusion manifested. Yeah, baby. And that's what happened to my tooth, I was going, boy, that's really, and I said, oh, look, a dentist. And bingo, I had, I kind of knew Ireland had free healthcare, but I wasn't thinking about it. All I wanted was, and I thought he would look at it, give me some stuff, and I'd come back in a week and he would do a little this. And he did it all in one day. He goes, because your mouth wasn't so, I couldn't just leave that way. And all these people, everybody in here was just here for, cleaning, and they don't need me. I got a dental assistant for that. And this was a real challenge. And I'm really proud of what I did. And that's why I did other things. I was in there. I just went for it. Right. So that's what it can be. No skin off our nose. That's the kind of world we can have, but we have to stand up for it, and that's why I do this show, to tell you stories, to give you a direction to go. But it has to be your free will. It has to be your choice. It has to be your co-creation with love, right? Love's co-transformation. That's what it is, through illusion manifested, right? So, okay, 53 minutes, almost an hour. Let's just ride an AI along. So, Ryan, it was good to see you, buddy. I'm glad I did this just to say hi to you and happy everybody out there. And remember, if you want to drop anything in my PayPal, just go to the dudeawake42@gmail, and there it is. And that's all you got to do. Not a lot, but a number of people have dropped it in there for me to know that it works, right? That's all they did. They went to dudeawake42@gmail and dropped some money on my PayPal. And everyone who has, I thank you very much. I'm not going to go down the line and tell everybody's name. You all know who you are, and thank you, right? From the bottom of my heart. There are trolls out there who, So, that's about it. I just wanted to say I love you, and go look at my X-Rated, XRATTED at blogspot.com. Go to my Gmail, thedudeawake42@gmail, and see me next time. I probably won't do another one of these until after Christmas, till maybe Saturday or Sunday coming, or Monday or Tuesday, because I do have to drive 40 miles. And I'm still, yes, folks, I've got a few more pennies, but I have an electric bill coming that I have no idea what it is. So, anyway, so I'll see you soon. I love you guys. And remember, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. It was in the beginning, is now, ever shall be. Over that, amen. That's Father. Father Sky. Mother Earth, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, blessed fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for our sinners now and the hour of death. Amen. And our Holy Spirit, bless us indeed. Enlarge our territory. Put your hand upon our shoulders so we will do no evil. So you will keep us from evil. So we will do no harm. And in every day and every way we'll take the peace of the earth and make it stronger. Oh, I love you all. Catch you later. Enjoy the holidays. Treat everyone who's nearby with empathy and consideration and love. Do-do-do.